Hey, welcome back to Habitual. This isn't my show, but today I'm running this show. Hey, I'm kidding, guys. Haley, it's your turn.
Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to another episode of Habitual. I have a very special guest here with me today, which is crazy. First guest on the pod.
First guest on the pod. Mark it.
Cassidy Sawney.
Put in the calendar.
Hey, it's a momentous occasion. It really is. I guess let's
Yes. Guys, today there's going to be a lot of giggles. We're trying out something new. I've never been on a podcast. Haley's never had a guest. So bear with us.
please.
Hopefully you laugh along with us. And we're just going to let it flow.
We're going to let it flow. Exactly. And we'll start with some daily delights.
Mm.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You go ahead and start.
Okay. My first daily delight is that Cassidy is on the podcast with me. We jokingly talked about it like last week, and then I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So here we are, and we're on my couch.
The other couch.
The other couch. Change of scenery. So love that. And my other daily delight is yesterday we went in the creek. That was the first creek swim of the year. It was eventful and amazing and felt just so nice to be in ice cold frigid water.
Yeah. It was
Mhm.
really rejuvenating, almost spiritual.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been living in Oklahoma for the past 3 years, and there's barely even a tree on campus. So it was wonderful. So
Yeah.
that is obviously one of my delights as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me specifically today, waking up in my own bed, not what you're thinking, waking up in my own bed with a good night's rest, because I have had the pleasure of, for the past couple of days, being up till 2 a.m. with some of the people that I love, including Haley, celebrating my brother, celebrating my friend's friend who plays in a band. So yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
It was an eventful weekend.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It is never a dull moment being home.
West County. Yeah, we had a surprise birthday party for Jacob on Saturday, and he was very surprised. So that was successful and very fun. Yeah.
And Haley did a great job planning it. Give you props. He had no idea. Most of us had no idea until what time was going to be there.
Yeah. All up in the air.
It all went smoothly for the most part.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
it was awesome. You should always take the time to celebrate the people who mean the most to you in your life.
That part is so real. I 100% agree. And I really took a gamble. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh my God, that sounds so fun. We should do a surprise party. And then I even was telling my boss, I was like, I'm throwing Jacob a surprise party. And she goes, oh, does he like surprises? And I was like,
great question.
well, I don't think that he I don't think that he doesn't like them, but I don't know if he likes them. And then I was rethinking everything, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. What if he hates it? But I was like, there's no way he wouldn't. Because any excuse to hang out with his friends and the people that he cares about, he loves it. So, but I did second guess myself for a second there. So if you are planning a surprise party in the future, do make sure that they like surprises, because that thought didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who doesn't like surprises, please make that known to anyone in your life, especially your significant other. And there's ways to work around that too if they want to still surprise you with things. I don't like surprises, so letting you know that right now. Actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
good to
I
know.
don't like surprises. So with me, my significant other will be like, "Hey, I'm gonna plan this, and I want it to be a surprise, but I know you don't like surprises, so I'm gonna let you know that there's a plan,
That's sweet.
but it's important to me that it is a surprise to you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, perfect. Like, that's great.
And then you can
That's
like
okay. I'm okay
know
with that." Yeah.
that something's happening,
Mhm.
but it's not like, yeah, you're not being like shoved into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set that
Sense.
boundary off rip,
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, that's
Life
so true.
advice right there.
I don't think. Oh, I actually do like surprises. And so I've only really ever been surprised once. And it was all my best friends from college. Like 6 months after we graduated, they all drove up from SoCal and surprised me.
Mhm.
And I cried. Shocker. I know I cried and everything, but I did cry. And that was like, I loved it. It definitely was also stressful though, because then I had to figure out how I was going to house 6 girls on the fly for a weekend with my newborn baby sister
Oh my
and my
gosh.
other 6. Yeah. So that was a whole thing. But it was so great. But I think I do like I like it. I feel like I just am such a planner and I plan everything. So I like the idea of being surprised and having something else be planned that I don't have to like mentally stress about it being planned.
Well, yeah, because you put so much time and effort and thought into everything that you plan and do for others. So knowing that somebody is willing to take the time and do that for you is
Exactly.
it's just a good feeling, and
It
it makes you
is.
feel important and loved.
Exactly. So the reason that surprise meant so much to me was because it was like 6 months after college, after graduating, and I was having the hardest time adjusting. And I feel like it just couldn't have come at a better time to like see everyone that I'd spent the last 4 years living with, and to also just feel like, yeah, that kind of like picked me up because that shit is so hard. Like, and we wanted to kind of talk about it today because that was like, for me personally, like the hardest transition of my entire life, which makes sense because it is literally like life as you know it is just completely different. Like you go to school every day since as long as you can remember. And especially when you choose to go to a 4-year college, or if you don't and you do a community college, and then for like, regardless, if you continue your education after high school, that's just extending that life that you've already known of going to school every day. And then when you don't have that anymore, it's like, wait. I've been doing like the same thing for 24, or no, not 24, 22 years. And then you just have to adjust. And it's like, no one really prepares you for it.
Yeah.
And Cassidy is experiencing this.
I am very much so experiencing this in the worst way possible. I've actually got hit with this twice in the past like 2 years because I went from being a college athlete, which like sports is my job and my life and what pays the bills. And I'm also going to school on top of that, into, okay, well, now I'm only going to school and now I'm not going to school, but I'm still in the same area as everybody else who is still in that period of time of their life. So it's been, oof. And now I moved back home to live with my parents. So I am just going through a bunch of cycles right now, which is actually insane and doesn't even feel real to me yet. Quite honestly, I think I'm kind of starting to adjust a little bit to the idea. But it's also kind of weird because when you move back to your hometown, especially move back in with your parents, and you've been away for so long, it almost doesn't feel like it's reality or it's real. You just feel like you're
So
back
true.
home
Yeah.
visiting for, another holiday or whatever, and everything doesn't feel permanent. Everything feels
Mhm.
very temporary too. So it's a very weird mindset to be in, and it's one that I am trying to navigate through with all of the expectations of everybody around me in my community, including my own.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's like, not only are you transitioning into, yeah, being home living with your parents who you haven't lived with for at least 4 years more.
It's been like 7.
Yeah, even more. Yeah. And then, yeah, you're also back in a new place. You're trying to figure out what your next step is. You're unemployed on top of that, trying to find a job. But then it's like, how do you even know what jobs to look for? Because, I mean, you did have the experience of like having like pretty, like you had a lot of like work experience prior to moving back home. Like for me, I like was a server. So I was like, wait, guys, like,
What's a
wait,
girl to do?
what? And with a communications degree, and they're like, but like it's so universal, you can use it for anything. I'm like,
That's the problem.
that's literally the issue because I could use it for anything. So what? Like, where do I? Oh my god, yeah, just like it's so much on top of like everything else, and yeah, navigating other people's expectations is just the cherry sitting right on top.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I've been trying to come into it with an optimistic mindset and just be like, wow, I have so many opportunities and so many possibilities, and where do I want to take my career? Because I don't know. Like, I have a degree in behavioral sciences, psychology, and I don't want to work in the mental health field anymore because I've spent the last 4 years dealing with people with severe mental health issues or disabilities, and guys, I need a break.
Real, yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm at a point too where it's like, okay, well, now's the time, choose a career.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 23 years old.
Like, it's a lot of fucking shit to go through, and like I've just it just is crazy to me because I feel like every single, at least like every woman that I've ever talked to has talked about how this is the hardest time of their life, but I feel like it's not talked about.
No,
Like, it's
nobody
not.
prepares you for this.
No. It's like, and it's like all of a sudden you're in it and you're just like, oh my fucking God, like, is this like normal? Is it normal for me to be where I am? Is it normal for me to be feeling these things? Is it like, what the fuck's happening? And it feels, because it sounds extreme, but like it really is like life as you know it is like gone and like done. And then you're trying to like kind of like grapple with that while also wanting to build something else while also not knowing what you want to build. And then, but you feel like you have to do something, and it's like paralyzing.
Yeah, totally. Especially if you're having all these things racing through your head, and now is the time for you to find, okay, what I truly want to do and who I want to be. And that just seems so concrete that some people just get stuck with, okay, well, it has to be the perfect job. It has to be the perfect opportunity. It needs to fall into my lap. I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting. You can't wait. You just got to do things. Try everything. And you know what? Who cares? Try everything you can.
Yeah. And I think like a huge thing that now I realize looking back on that time is like the amount of pressure, like it comes from everywhere, and like that's not to be diminished, but it's also like it just feels that big, but it really isn't. Like I I ended up getting a job that I was really excited about, and then I really didn't end up liking it, and I had it. I experienced that. I experienced then applying for other jobs. Like it wasn't this perfect thing, and I learned a lot from it, and I definitely owe it, like owe a lot of what I know now about myself to that negative experience. Or not like negative, I don't like saying that, but like just a not ideal situation. It taught me so much. And I also like, your 20s really are for just figuring it out. Like, it really is. And like, but it's hard because it doesn't fucking feel like
I'm figuring nothing out. Actually, everything is going awry. And I just feel, oof, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no words to describe it.
I really liked, there's this analogy. I was just actually talking to one of my best friends about it, about how it feels like I think that life transitions in general feel like this, but I feel like this specific transition was like the biggest example of that. But it's like oh my god, I can't remember what it's called. What is it called when a caterpillar turns into metamorphosis?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The stage in metamorphosis when the caterpillar turns into goo inside the chrysalis, and it's like literally just goo, and that's it. Like, that's what that time like is so. And I think like, yeah, like all life transitions, all things like that can be related to that. But like we were just talking about, I'm like, oh my god, like that just perfectly describes, like, it's just goo. Like, there's nothing solid. There's nothing for you to hold on to. You don't feel solid. You feel like goo. You're just like this thing that was once fully formed,
Mm-hmm.
and you really thought that you had it all. Like, there's a fucking Taylor Swift lyric that like crushed me when I heard it the first time, and then it crushed me again when I heard it like years later. But it's Nothing New with Phoebe Bridgers, and she says, how can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22? And like, chills. Like, that gave me chills, because I was like, yeah, at 18 years old I was like, oh my god, I literally know exactly who I am. I know what I want, like blah 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 blah. And then at 22 I was like, wait, none of that is real, and none of that pertains or has persisted, and I just feel like goo.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I am
Right?
just goo, and I am just being encapsulated, and so many layers are being added on to me in this center, just this sludge of goop.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm eventually gonna break out of this and obviously become this gorgeous, beautiful butterfly.
Yes, you will.
But right now, you're just
goo.
I'm
And
just
how
goo.
can you even like fathom this like butterfly existence that you know is gonna happen? And it's like, how can you even fathom that when you're literally just goo in a chrysalis? Like, how do you even get there? It's just crazy. But I think that a big thing that also is like really helpful, at least for me, it was just like, everyone fucking goes through it.
Yeah.
Like, even if people aren't talking about it, like everyone, I mean, unless you're like that like rare case of like person who's like, I'm gonna be a doctor and I know that I want to be a doctor, and so I'm gonna be a doctor, and I don't know. People that have like really strong senses of direction, that shit's crazy. And if that's you, that's so fucking cool.
I love
I've
that for
never
you.
been that, and
Nope.
I can't imagine what that's like, but that is so awesome.
I think that there's a couple of things that I want to speak on
Mhm.
with this,
Mhm.
including the having just this sense of where you want to go and who you want to be. Because I think you're right. I think actually, I turned 18 my freshman year of college when I was already in my major. And then I changed my major, anyways. But like, you do have this sense of, wow, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to major in. Like, you're making this insane decision at such a young age.
So true.
Even if you're not going to college,
Yeah.
even if you're picking up a job, or, you're starting a business, or
Learning a
you're
trade.
learning a
Yeah.
trade, getting into a relationship, like,
My God, so real.
it's such an insane thing to just decide on at such a young age. And I feel like a lot of the times, I'm not saying at all that men have it easier, but like, sorry. Anyways, we don't need to get into all of that, guys. Sorry. Men have so many more career opportunities in terms of like, oh, well, I could go to college and then I'll become a financial advisor, or I'll become, I'll be a doctor, or I'll be a firefighter. I'll go to do a trade school. I'll go become an engineer, which obviously women can do all of these things. But for women, I feel like there are so few careers that are woman dominated and are like, except for outside of maybe nursing. But I feel like so many of my friends right now who don't know what they're doing with their lives are going to still just become a nurse because it's the only career that's marketed towards women,
Yeah.
honestly.
As like a safety net.
Yeah.
Vibe. Yeah.
Which is crazy because nursing school is fucking expensive, guy.
And hard as shit. I mean, I don't actually know, but I couldn't do it.
Right. No.
Couldn't be
No.
me.
So you go into these, oh my gosh, into these majors. And for me, it was like choosing psychology. At first I started as a bio major, but hate chemistry, can't do it. So I took a psychology course and I decided that, hey, I love this. I'm interested in this. I want to study this. But hey, guess what? Now your degree doesn't matter. And the only thing you can really do with that is become a therapist. You're a woman, become a therapist and talk to people about emotions. Well, I don't want to sit there and talk to other people about their feelings every single day. I'm too blunt for that, guys.
Well, and it's like,
Ugh.
the idea of choosing a major is so crazy because, like, I don't know about you, like, no one explained to me, like, what that meant. Like, it's like, oh, it's what you'll get your degree in. I'm like, okay. Like, how am I supposed to make this decision on, like, because I went in as a business major because I didn't know what to choose. And everyone said just do business because it's the easiest and, like, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then I started doing business and I was like, oh my God, I'm learning about, like, economics and I'm doing, like, statistics and I hate all of those things. Like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then, yeah, I had a comms class and I was like, I love this. And so I switched to comms and then I switched my minor from marketing, also hated that, to psychology. And because I liked learning about it, but I didn't actually know, like, there was no, like, direct, these are all the things that you can do. Like, you can Google it and it's like, oh, like, what can you do with a communications degree? It's like, what's one of the options? Oh, like, human resources. Like, okay. So yeah, it's like HR or marketing. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why would a communications marketing? Okay. Like, weird. I don't know. There's just but it doesn't actually give you, like, I don't know. It's weird that they have you make this choice before.
There is no degree to career pipeline.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's also no, hey, you're 18 years old and you actually don't even know yourself yet, but then make this, like, crazy decision about what you want to study for the next 4 years of your life, that everyone will expect that to you to then use that degree into whatever you do. So
Yeah.
choose wisely, little 18-year-old. Like, oh, and then if you choose wrong and then maybe you have to switch it, you might actually end up also being in school more and having to take more loans out and being more in debt.
Yeah.
Because you didn't make the right choice at 18 years old.
Yeah. Now you have to restart. And none of that actually ever mattered. And screw college advisors because they never know what they're talking about. So half the time, the courses
Literally
you
never.
take never even mattered towards your degree anyways. So
Yep.
I'm sorry to tell you guys this. Just be very careful. It's a trap. Yeah. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to speak on. Sorry, guys. We got on a little rant there.
No, please.
In terms of this transition being so hard and, like, just everything feeling so paralyzing is because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many opportunities, but now it has become so crazily, like, my gosh, you can make money online, and everybody is pushing all of this and monetize if you want to do art or anything creative, monetize your creative work and get paid for everything you do and, whatever. And all of these people are using their platforms in order to try and make their lives look better than they are and get you to buy into what they're selling you and buy a course online. And then is it going to work for you? You don't even know. You don't have a mentor. You don't, like, it's just so beyond crazy and stressful, and then obviously you have the fear of like these work from home jobs. Are they even real? Are people trying to scam you? Like, it's just the job market is crazy.
The job market is crazy. The job market is always crazy, I feel like, but it's like even crazier. Like, it's craziest for someone who is looking for entry level jobs who doesn't have necessarily that experience, which is also like, shouldn't that be the like,
Baseline?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
crazy. I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, every single job that's coming up, it's like entry level, and then it's like 3 years experience. I'm like, wait, guys. Hey, how am I gonna actually get there? And you have to like have connections. Honestly, like most of the people that I know that got jobs, like the jobs that they got out of college were literally due to like connections and the people that they knew. Because if you don't, you just won't get that, which is crazy.
And you're not gonna find these jobs unless you have those connections, because they're not posting on the stupid little job boards that are the only job boards that are available for you, unless you want to go on Facebook job opportunity pages, which I've been on, guys. Trust me, they're stupid and terrible to navigate, and half the people on there are like, hey, I'm looking for a job, this is what I have, these are my qualifications.
It's like, great. Just don't say anything unless you're offering a job.
Right, how about you just apply to the job?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. No, and I think that social media, I mean, that shit pisses me off.
I came on here to rant. Sorry.
Hey, you know what?
Sorry if this is
Come
stressing
off
you.
the soapbox.
Yeah.
Let me get on that shit.
Sorry if this is stressing you guys out, and if you're going through this as well, and you're like, girl, don't remind me, because yeah, it is
But
stressful.
I think that, but here's the thing. I think it's beneficial to acknowledge it and to talk about it and to have people understand that like that period of time is really hard and it is really challenging. But from experience, like it is also one of the most rewarding challenges that I've ever been through, because yes, I had really poor mental health. I was really not doing well. It was really, really, like really hard for me. Um, but I also learned so much about myself, like more than I have ever learned about myself in my life. Like most of what I know now about who I am and who I believe myself to be came out of that really, really, really challenging period, because it did challenge all of my beliefs, and it did challenge like, okay, like who are you when you're not living for other people's expectations, when you're not a student because that's what you were told your whole life, is that you're going to go to college and you're going to get a degree, and then you do it and you're like, okay, and then now what? And then who are you when you get to make all of those decisions, when you get to have that autonomy of, this is what I'm going to apply for and this is what I'm going to do, and this is the like being assertive in your own life requires a certain amount of self-knowledge. Otherwise, it's just like action without direction. And to actually find that direction, you just have to fucking, not in an insensitive way, but you just have to get through it. Like, it's like the thing, like the only way out is through.
Yeah.
And like, it sucks and it's really hard. But like, when you focus on getting to know yourself and like you said earlier, like trying all the things and experiencing all of the things, like you really learn like, oh, this is for me. Oh, this isn't for me. And also, like I always say, it feels so big, but it's not that serious. I mean, obviously mental health is very serious. That's not what I'm saying. But like the pressures, the expectations, like it really feels like it's this big, big, big thing. But once you just let it be silly.
Right.
It can be, and it can just be yeah, like I don't know. There's just a lot to be said about going through it and also learning about what helps you get through it. Because you have to get
Mhm.
through it, and then like figuring out how you can make this experience and getting through it the best that it can be for you proves that you also then just learn so much about how you're going to be able to get through things in the future and what you need in order to thrive.
Totally.
Vibes?
Vibes. Because for me, I was going to stay in Oklahoma. I was working at an ABA clinic for kids with autism. And I just like it was so draining. And I didn't have anything else that I was focusing my time on at the moment. I was just working to pay rent and pay my bills and, be there with my boyfriend. Love you. Um, but I would come home and I would be so drained that I would just lay there and like stare at the ceiling. And I was like, why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? I need to reevaluate what's best for me. And what's best for me, we had gone to Mexico for Christmas and my birthday. And just being around my family was enough for me to make that decision that I needed to be around a support system and be with people who were gonna help me as I was at this low point in my life. Not saying that these people also didn't have expectations, but I also realized that these people expectations were just reflections of themselves
Mhm.
and maybe even stuff that they didn't accomplish being pushed onto me, which like everybody does that.
Exactly.
When you look at somebody and you see something you don't like, it's typically a reflection of yourself that you just haven't come to terms with yet. So think about that
That
the
part,
next time you start judging somebody.
no, it's actually so real. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So there were these expectations, and of course, when you come home, everybody is like, "What are you gonna do? What career are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with your degree?" And I just started. At first, I was kind of telling people some BS, just because I didn't want to deal with, their judgment or whatever. And then I
Mhm.
realized, hey, what they think of me actually doesn't matter. So I just started being honest. I actually don't know what I'm gonna do,
Mhm.
and that even opened up more opportunities for me
Mhm.
because then people start offering you help or start looking for you or think of you when things pop up. And it's, obviously in the moment it feels kind of embarrassing, but being vulnerable with others and showing them who you truly are will open so many doors for you in all areas of your life.
Facts. Such facts. Like, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, it's so scary to be like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Hey, I don't know.
Hey, I don't
I
know.
actually am not
Do you
so
know?
sure. Yeah. So, gonna take the time to figure it out.
Right.
And whatever happens next happens next. But I think that that's also like, yeah, being vulnerable is really scary. But like you said, like, if you were telling everyone like this one answer or whatever, then it's like, okay, that might like satiate their curiosity in the moment. But instead, when you're vulnerable, like you said, I feel like there's been so many people being like, "Oh, well, I know this place that's hiring, or like this place is doing this, and like, oh, it'd be so cool. Like, let me talk to them for you, and blah blah blah." And like, I feel like it's almost always been beneficial,
Totally.
which
Yeah.
I think can also just extend to every other area of life. Being vulnerable is always going to be beneficial. Telling people how you feel.
Yeah. And I think also that social media has messed that up for a lot of people too. Because it's teaching everybody to put on such a facade and put on a happy and brave face and act like everything's okay. And of course it's okay to share like what's making you happy in the moment and like be confident and post all of these things and
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not saying that I hate social media. Love social media, you know.
Yes.
takes up a lot of my time, unfortunately. um, but like just take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to that and
Mhm.
start being authentically you and living for yourself. And it's okay to share that with other people too. But make sure that your main priority with that is you're living for yourself.
Yep. 100%. I also think that, I mean, this could go into like kind of like a completely different conversation, but I'm just going to mention it because I think it's important, is that the the poison of social media, in my opinion, is the like the draw to comparison. Like, you are seeing other people's lives and there's just, you're a human being. It's just part of your brain. It's going to immediately like compare and contrast and be like, "Oh, well, like my life doesn't do that, or I did that but it didn't look like that, or I don't do that." Or especially with like influencers and stuff, and there's so much content out there that's like, if this is happening in your life, this is bad. Or like, if your life isn't like this, you need to change it. It's like, and then you sit there and you are like, "Oh my God, like what if that, like w- what if that is how
Yeah,
it
what if
is in
that's
my
true?
life?" Or like, yeah, and it's like can make you feel so some type of way and make you feel like your life is lacking in some area. And I feel like comparison is a version of the devil.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
That part. Yeah, it is. Because it literally is. Like, and I feel like that is a huge thing that, I mean, I just like have addiction in my genes, and I have watched myself also be addicted to scrolling, like badly. So I put a lot of parameters on myself for my scrolling habits. Um, because at the height of that, of just doom scrolling, it always makes me just feel so much worse. And I do watch myself compare. And
Mhm.
then, but then and I'm lucky enough to have such a solid, like, self concept that I can act when I watch myself compare. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's crazy that, like, this is, like, now like, this is how I'm feeling now," and I'm somehow second guessing all these things that, like, literally 2 hours ago, I was, like, bursting at the seams with joy because I love my life so much, and it's so crazy how fast that comparison can work in dysregulating your nervous system and genuinely changing your concept of life. And I'm curious if you ever actually learned about this because, okay, this might be like whatever. I learned about a concept, a theory in one of my communications classes called mean world syndrome. And it basically, I don't remember the exact hours because I'm not a super genius, but it was basically like people who watch, I think it was like people who watch like more than like 30 hours a week of TV have mean world syndrome. And there is a actual statistical difference in how they view the world based on people who watch less than like 30 hours of TV.
Mm.
And the people that watch more have like genuinely think that like their chances of being like robbed, like kidnapped, like I don't know, like all of those things is like literally like they think that like it is like it's like could happen to them every single time that they go outside, like genuinely. And they think that the world is like this actually like it has the television has fully warped their perception of what real world is and like reality is.
Mhm.
And I feel like we can see that happening in our generation with social media 100%. And there's going to be a very similar study with a very similar theory that comes out. I guarantee it, talking about how, and not necessarily like of like, well, real life, but also like personal life, like personal satisfaction and happiness. I think that there's a direct correlation to like time spent on social media.
Yeah. I have not heard of that, although I fully believe that. And I also believe like generationally it is gonna get worse,
Mhm.
especially with social media, just because we have access to so much news and so much media and so much content and see everything kind of unfiltered
Mhm.
as opposed to, like people who aren't on social media or whatever. But it also brings me back to thinking about like how a lot of the parents of our generation were so terrified of like letting their kids go outside and like somebody's going to get kidnapped or
Mhm.
watching the news and just being so frightened from the media
Mhm.
that I could totally see like social media also making a big impact on that and just creating people who are almost afraid to live outside of their screens.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like yeah.
And something that I've talked to my mom a little bit about is especially in terms of like how we view other people is like you are viewing the entire world through like this preconceived lens and notion that may not be accurate, but you're looking for confirmation
Mhm.
for that in everything.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna find what you're looking for.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. So if you're looking for the bad in the world to feed into your perception that the world is bad and, like this person is bad because they do this, you're gonna find that and you're gonna view everything they do through that lens
Mhm.
too. So it's just gonna your brain is always looking to confirm the ideas and
Yeah.
the way that it looks at the world.
And I think that another way that that can also be applied in terms of like social media in comparison is like people who look up to influencers and think that like certain influencers have like perfect lives
Mhm.
and then see their content and are just like it just like to them is just confirming that like their life is perfect and their life is perfect and I want their life and I want a life that's like that. Because the
Mhm.
second that you start like idolizing that or being like that like that's not what I have is the second that yeah, you're just are gonna your personal satisfaction is just gonna absolutely tank because you're not gonna have a life like anyone else. It's your that's why it's so great because like you get your own life and you get to have all the things that make up your life be yours and
100%.
not someone else's. But I don't know. I just feel like yeah, that shit's crazy.
And yeah.
I
I was
mean,
on TikTok today, LOL, since we're talking about social media. And this one girl popped up on my feed who is an influencer, but she's not your typical clean girl, whatever, like
mhm,
a lot of people idealize. And she is really just truly authentically herself. And she was talking about how if you do want to pursue social media, which like all power to you, if you can make money through that, kudos to you.
right.
As long as you're being yourself.
Mhm,
But she was kind of also talking about how she sees so many people complaining about how, their content isn't getting pushed out to people or they're not going viral like everybody says they will if they post this video and that video.
mhm,
And it's because they're trying so much to replicate other people's lives and other people's content that people are bored with it. People are like, seen this, been there,
yep,
watched that.
yeah,
Like, you have to be yourself. There is nobody else in this world like you. So rep that. Be
yeah,
yourself in every way, shape, and form. Be authentically you because people are going to be intrigued by that.
mhm, and, like, that's what you have to offer. Like,
Exactly.
that's what you have to offer that literally no other human being on this entire planet has to offer because they can't. Like, you being yourself and being, yeah, original and authentic, like, that is the key to anything in life, to literally anything in life, and the sooner that you are able to, like, accept yourself for who you are and but then also take accountability, because that's also a big thing, right? Like, you can love who you are and accept who you are, and also accept that maybe there are some flaws that you have that you might need to work on, which is totally fine.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
part of being human. But I think that, yeah, once you accept that and like really see the value in what sets you apart and what makes you different and what makes you you, like, dude, fucking shit. Shit.
Fucking shit.
Fucking shit. But like the doors just like open. Like, it's like, oh my
Shit
God, like,
on 'em.
whoa. Like, I don't know. But also I think a huge part of that is also being in environments that allow you to do that and that promote that. Because it's really, really hard to do that in an environment where you don't feel supported in that. And I think that having people around you and being in environments of people that are like slay queen.